Здравейте! Това, за което искам да говоря днес, е демокрацията и дали наистина сме толкова свободни, колкото ни налагат да вярваме, и дали наистина имаме такива права, каквито си мислим. По-голямата част от западния свят има форма на управление, наречена демокрация. В превод демокрация означава народовластие. Това е форма на управление, което проистича от народа. А така ли е наистина? Народа всъщност има ли глас изобщо, в истинския смисъл на думата ли сме демокрация, или това е една илюзия, наложена от главнокомандващите, които ни налагат фалшиво чувство за власт? Важно е да се знае, че само в малки райони в Швейцария има така наречената пряка демокрация. Пряката демокрация е форма, в която народът взима политическите решения директно. В зависимост от степента на употреба, пряката демокрация може да доведе до приемане на управленски решения, изготвяне на закони, директно избиране или отзоваване на длъжностни лица или издаване на съдебни решения. Демокрацията във всички останали страни е така наречената представителна демокрация. Това е когато народа избира своите представители, които да участват. В нея народът е носител на държавната власт, но управлението на властта се осъществява чрез представители, които са избрани от народа. Съвременните демокрации са непреки, т.е. към тях спада и представителната демокрация. При тях управляват определени упълномощени лица. Да кажем, че имаме правилната форма на управление. И това, което ще обсъдим, е как и малкото власт, която имаме, ни бива отнемана. Когато гласуваме за президент, например, гласуваме за единия да спечели, или гласуваме другия да загуби. Например, в Щатите през 2016 година Доналд Тръмп ли спечели изборите или по-скоро Хилари Клинтън ги загуби, заради ниската избирателна активност на демократите на фона на стабилната избирателна активност на републиканците. Друг по-фрапантен пример е през 2000-та година. Буш печели изборите, въпреки че Гор има 500 000 гласа повече. Това се дължи на избирателната система в Щатите. Това свободни избори. Естествено, че най-големият играч при изборите са парите. Не всеки може да си позволи да направи кампания, защото струва скъпо. Парите за кампании, освен от държавни субсидии, идват и от части спонсори. Така хора с по-големи възможности могат да подкрепят фаворитите си, като в замяна получават много облаги, ако кандидатът спечели. А и да не говорим, че купуването на гласове също има важна роля в избирането. Също така в България може да си купиш място в парламента срещу определена 6-цифрена сума, но това няма как да сме сигурни. Но вярвам, че е възможно. През 2008 година на изборите в Щатите машината за гласуване не отчита гласа за правилния кандидат. Машината за гласове променя изборите им по същия начин, както в анимационния сериал Семейство Симпсън. Сега ще ви покажа историята на кандидат за президент в Америка, в която той говори за това как правителството прави всичко възможно, за да ни контролира и в същото време ние да сме съгласни и дори да си плащаме. Оставям ви в следващите минути вие да прецените дали това е вярно или не.
Rockefeller, okay, who was one of the Rockefeller family, and he, when I was running for governor in Nevada, he came to me, introduced himself to me through an attorney, and we became friends. We started talking about things, and I learned an awful lot from Mr. Rockefeller. And one of the things that we used to talk about was the ultimate plan of the banking industry, what they wanted to accomplish. And the goals of the banking industry, not just the Federal Reserve System, but the private banks in Germany and England, all over Italy, all over the world, they all work together. They're all central banks, and they're all part of the Communist Manifesto. You know, central banking is one of the major planks of the Communist Manifesto. We talk about America being a capitalistic country, but yet at the same time we have a central bank that plans everything for us, right? And the graduated income tax is another plank of the Communist Manifesto, right? So right there you have two major planks of the Communist Manifesto that have been brought in because of the Federal Reserve System, okay? So the ultimate goal that these people have in mind is the goal to create a one-world government run by the banking industry, run by the bankers. and they're doing it in sections. The European currency, the euro, and the European Constitution is one part of it. Now they're trying to do it in America with the North American Union, right? And the whole agenda is to create a one world government where everybody has an RFID chip implanted in them. All money is to be in those chips, right? There'll be no more cash. And this is giving me straight from Rockefeller himself. This is what they want to accomplish. And all money will be in your chips. And so instead of having cash, anytime you have money in your chip, they can take out whatever they want to take out whenever they want to. If they say you owe us this much money in taxes, they just deduct it out of your chip digitally.
Total control.
Total control. And if you're like me or you, and you're protesting what they're doing, they can just turn off your chip. And you have nothing. You can't buy food. You can't do anything. It's total control of the people.
And that chip's connected to a database that has your purchasing records, what you do, what
everything.
you sell.
Everything is in there. They control the chips and they control the people. And you become a slave. You become a serf to these people. That's their goal. That's their intentions. He's the one who told me 11 months before 9/11 ever happened that there was going to be an event. Never told me what the event was going to be. But there was going to be an event, and out of that event, we were going to invade Afghanistan to run pipelines from the Caspian Sea. We were going to invade Iraq, to take over the oil fields, establish a base in the Middle East, and make it all part of the New World Order. And we'd go after Chavez in Venezuela. And sure enough, later 9/11 happened, and I remember he was telling me how you're going to see soldiers looking in caves for people in Afghanistan and Pakistan and all these places, and there's going to be this war on terror, which is no real enemy, and the whole thing is a giant hoax, but it's a way for the government to take over the American people.
He told you it was going to be a hoax.
Oh yeah. He says, there's going to be war on terror. And he's just laughing. There's no, who are we fighting? I mean, why do you think 9/11 happened and then nothing's happened since then? Do you think that our security is so great here that these people who pulled off 9/11, who were able to, can't knock down another plane? Come on, it's ridiculous. 9/11 was done by people in our own government and our own banking system to perpetuate the fear of the American people into subordinating themselves to anything the government wants them to do. That's what it's about, and to create this war, this endless war on terror. And that's why and that was the first lie. And the next lie was going into Iraq, to get Saddam Hussein out with his weapons of mass destruction. That was the next lie. He was at the house one night, and we were talking, and he started laughing. He said, "Aaron, what do you think women's liberation was about?" And I said, I'm pretty conventional thinking about it at that point. I said, I think it's about women having the right to work, getting equal pay with men, just like they won the right to vote, And he started to laugh. He said, "You're an idiot." And I said, "Why am I an idiot?" He said, let me tell you what that was about. We, the Rockefellers, funded that. We funded women's lib, And we're the ones who got all over the newspapers and television, the Rockefeller Foundation. He says, and you want to know why? He says, there were two primary reasons. And one reason was we couldn't tax half the population before women's lib. And the second reason was, now we get the kids in school at an early age. We can indoctrinate the kids how to think. It breaks up their family. Whoever makes the money makes the rules. Rothschild said that, and they make the money. Why are we allowing these private bankers to make the money for our country? It makes no sense. Why are we paying interest to these banks to make money for us when the government can do it itself without paying interest and without all that debt? There's no answer to that question, and it's the question no politician will raise. Because we have to borrow money. But we don't have to borrow money.
They designed it so we go into debt.
Exactly. We can create the money and back it by gold so they can't create too much of it. So you don't have the inflation. And the bankers make the money, they control the government, they buy the politicians, they tell us who gets into office. You have computer voting, that's a fraud. They do whatever they want to do to us. They do whatever they want to do to us. How could there be a war on terror and actually say that we're having a war against terrorism and leave the borders wide open? If you were the President of the United States, or I were the President of the United States, and 9/11 really happened the way they want us to believe it happened, the first thing you would do is shut down the borders so people couldn't get in the country to harm you. But they left the borders wide open because the bankers want the borders open. 11 was only a manifestation. It was done to create a fear in the American public, right? So that we will obey what they want us to do. Keep people in fear. It's this endless war on terrorism that doesn't really exist, so people will submit to whatever the government wants them to submit to. Searches, check your shoes, have ID cards, put chips in you, where you become servants to the elite. That's what this is all about,